I'm Marcy Barron, and this is Mondays with Marcy. I'm your homeward bound guide to everything 5D living. I can't wait to share with you tips and tools to guide your personal transformation so that you can live a life that thrills you. Welcome to this week's Mondays with Marcy. I am Marcy Barron, your host, and today I am so excited to welcome Lorraine Miller to our show. Welcome, Lorraine.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Marcy.
I'm so excited. So I think we met through the North Shore Moms Holistic Network and all of the ways that we care about our children in healthy and holistic ways. And what drew me to you was vitamin G. Can you tell us what vitamin G is, what you do, and your story, and in whatever order that is? So,
Sure, I'd love to.
yeah.
So, vitamin G is a way to nourish yourself through gratitude. It's it's the name that I gave to my gratitude practice.
Mm.
And I discovered gratitude on my journey to become a mom. It was a very long journey. It actually took us 8 years to become parents.
Mm.
And after 5 years of trying, we were trying every which way we could, including adoption. We had a lot of disappointments along the way. So we actually had 3 adoption situations fall through. And we also went the fertility route and did a lot of things both holistically and medically. And after 5 years, I was just struggling so much that I just wasn't myself. I wasn't happy. I wasn't,
Right.
I was miserable, basically. It was just so frustrating. And I realized that I needed to do something different. I needed to stop focusing on trying to become a mom and just focus on feeling good. And that's when I discovered the gratitude practice. I started seeing a health coach, and the very first day that I met with her, she suggested that I get a separate notebook or journal and write down 5 things every day that I was grateful for.
Mm.
And she told me to focus on the feeling that I got when I wrote in my journal. And I didn't really think that much of it. I had nothing to lose and it sounded fun. So I tried it. And after a few weeks, everything started shifting. Everything started changing. I started feeling more positive. I was hopeful. I started meeting new people.
Wow.
I actually decided to become a health coach myself. I had always been interested in natural health and wellness, but it was something that I kind of did on the side. And I would help people. People would ask me for advice about food and water filtration and clean products, things like that. I just was very interested in that, and I decided to put all that together. And I went back to school to become a health coach. And so that got me feeling good again, and it kind of shifted things for me.
What I want to say is it just feels like it fueled you, and it's no wonder you called it vitamin G. It's like it feels like it gave you the life force energy, the excitement, the push, if you will, the nourishment to move your life forward. What a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a real game changer. And yet it's so simple. It's so easy to do. It's just like taking a vitamin.
Mm.
And another reason why I like to call it vitamin G is a lot of times we think that gratitude is something that we should do, right? We should be grateful. it's important to be polite and to say thank you. But gratitude is so much more than that. It's a form of self-care. It's something we do to nourish ourselves. And of course, when we
Mm.
take care of ourselves, other people benefit from that. So it's not selfish, but it's just something that we do as a way of self-care. So vitamin G helps reinforce that idea. And I I teach about gratitude now, so um, I encourage people to really make it part of your daily routine, to commit to a daily practice. And taking a vitamin is something you usually do every day too.
I just love that analogy. It's so simple and such a great analogy. I mean, that's just the best way I can say it. So, what if people don't understand? What does gratitude do? How does it support your wellness and your happiness and self nurturance and giving in overflow? How does that work?
So, what I've found is that gratitude is the foundation for everything.
Mm.
It really is something that you can do for yourself that will affect every area of your life. It affects your relationships, it affects your relationship with yourself, it affects your career, it affects your home environment, your family, all the things that nourish you in your life, even food. It can affect how you have, your relationship with food. Um, so it, I, I like to think of it as the foundation for creating whatever it is you want to create in your life. And when you have a daily practice, you actually rewire your brain to see the good. So some
Mm.
people are naturally grateful. They're naturally positive people, and they're just people that are fun to be around because they always, they get excited about things and they always see the positive side. But not everyone is like that, and I'm certainly not like that innately. But for me, it's something that I work at, and I know there are a lot of people that even when you're feeling, even if you're a positive person right now, there's so much going on that even the most positive people can use some support around staying focused on what's good and what's working. So when you practice gratitude every day, and especially if you do what my health coach recommended, where you focus on the feeling, and now I call that special sauce to practicing vitamin G,
Yeah.
um, you are able to not only rewire your brain to see the good in every situation, but you're practicing, because it's a practice, putting yourself in a positive feeling and a positive energy and a positive vibration, which
Coherence, it is called, correct? Coherence?
I haven't heard that
Oh,
term.
okay.
um, but yeah, that would make sense. um, and you would know more about this than me because you're so well versed in energy. But it's just, when you are in a positive state of feeling and energy, then you attract more of that into your life.
Yeah.
So it's really like the antidote to stress and the antidote to worry and fear.
Wow. And isn't that what everybody really needs right now? Like you said, it's been an exhausting minimum 2 years. It just keeps, the narrative keeps just shifting from one thing to the next.
Mhm.
And how, the way that I think about it is like if you're focused on gratitude, it literally changes your energetic vibration. You can't be grateful for something and feel angry at the same time, or sad, or hopeless, or depressed. So I
Mhm.
literally see how that gave you like the rocket ship to attracting all of the things that instead of focusing on what wasn't working in your fertility journey, you then started to focus on the things that you were excited about and grateful for, and then that just then opens and raises your vibration for you to then be a magnet for all of the good things, like you said, all of the beautiful things that came your way. I just love your beautiful and simple way of explaining it. It's so simple, and like you said, it becomes a practice. And what I also love about you is you created two tools to support people in this gratitude practice. Can you tell everybody about those?
Sure. So the first tool I created is a journal. It's called From Gratitude to Bliss, A Journey in Health and Happiness. And it's just a small spiral bound journal. You can find it on my website, gratitudetobliss.com. And the story behind that is really interesting because while I was in um, health coaching school, I was kind of figuring out which area of health and wellness I wanted to focus on. So I did cooking classes and a lot with nutrition. And then a year later, our school had a conference that I went to. And at that conference, the founder announced a contest to do something to propel your business forward. And 100 people were going to get to go to Costa Rica for another conference that summer. So I got together with one health coach friend, and we bounced some ideas off each other. And I had one idea I remember was like healthy restaurants, inspiring restaurants to get healthy ingredients into their menus. And the other idea was a gratitude journal. And when I talked about it, my health coach friend said, "You have to do that. You get so excited talking about that." And I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
So prior to being a health coach, I was a graphic designer, and I knew how to get things printed and designed, and I love to write. So I just, at that time, this was 11 years ago, I didn't really know about that many journals out there specifically for practicing gratitude. So I just had this vision and I just put it together,
Wow.
and I put inspirational tips in there. So because I'm a health coach, health is sort of weaved into that that journey. And then after I did that, I realized, well, I want so many people to experience this, and I can't be shipping these journals all over the world forever. So I decided to create an app. So I now have an app. It's called Gratitude to Bliss.
Oh,
It's in the App Store. And I recently finished updating it. It's taken me over a year to do, but it's now 365 days of inspiration. So every day you get a tip. And as you get further along throughout the year, it goes more in depth to all those different areas of gratitude. So one 30-day segment is about friends and family. Another one is about health. Another one is about your home and being
mm.
grateful for the things in your home. And then there's other areas of life that the app will guide you through.
I love that support because sometimes when I think about things I'm grateful for, it always tends to be the same things, you know what I mean? And I like that targeted area of focus. That's just a really, just so wise. And I love how all of your talents came together in creation. Like if that's
Mhm.
so inspiring, I think to everybody listening and watching, it's like, oh, this is your health coach friend was able to mirror back to you your excitement, and then
Mhm.
you're like, oh, okay, and I like to write, and I'm a graphic designer, and it was like the perfect little package for what you um needed to do. And I find that in my own journey too. It's like I'm a classically trained teacher. So now I'm just teaching, the Divines curriculum instead of third grade,
Right.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, I think very inspiring for people too to hear that. It's like you were just it just came as a natural extension of, and this is what I find with every single person I speak to, every guest on this podcast. It's like your wound becomes your wisdom. Your mess becomes your message. What you needed to get out of the funk of your what felt like a lot of hopelessness in your fertility journey, you then were able to, you know, practice it and then walk your talk with it and then birth into the world such an incredible gift for humanity. So I just am in awe of that. And I didn't know all of those little details. And that's just really, really fantastic. I love
Oh,
it.
thank you. And yeah, it is really interesting. I think when you're when you're just in that place of purpose, synchronicity just happens, right?
Yes.
And when you're able to share your gifts in such a beautiful way, like I love your story. You have such a
Oh,
beautiful story of gratitude too.
yeah.
Losing your son and now realizing that that is what brought you to what you're doing now and what your gift is to bring to everyone.
Yes.
That's a remarkable story of gratitude too.
Thank you. I received that reflection. It is so true. My in my wildest dreams, I never ever ever believed that that would happen. But yes, he's just guiding me on this path and really opened me up to all of this. You're right. I wouldn't be doing this if that it wasn't for that tragic, loss. So you're right. And now I can say, in full, like, while that was difficult and while that was obviously not anything anybody really wants to go through, it literally became the turning point in my journey to heal myself and help hold space for healing others. So true. It's
Very true.
And I would say, like, just what's coming to my heart is anybody who's listening or watching, and a lot of people are going through the dark night of the soul right now. A lot of people are really coming into what isn't serving them and what doesn't feel right. And just know that it's all happening for you to grow. And it's not easy, right? It's deep, heart wrenching work. But the beautiful thing is that gratitude can support that journey of when everything just doesn't seem light or bright, or you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The gratitude is, it feels like a buoy. It feels like it just buoys everything up.
Hmm. Yes, I like that analogy very much. And what I tell people is it there's when you're going through a rough time, it's very hard to be grateful or
Yeah.
to feel grateful. I remember when I was trying to get pregnant, everyone around me was having babies. My boss was having a baby, my sister, my college friend, and I just couldn't like cope. I needed like a coping skill. And my mom would say things like, well, you just have to be positive. And I would get mad because I'd be
Yeah.
like, I know that. I I know I need to be positive. I know I need to not stress. But nobody was telling me how to do that.
Right.
And until my health coach told me to practice gratitude, I didn't know how to not stress, but somehow gratitude just flipped the switch for me.
Mm.
And what I like to tell people is that it doesn't really matter what you're grateful for. So if you are going through a rough time and everything seems hopeless and things seem really dark, find something to be grateful for. It could be a pillow, it could be a clean glass of water. Not everyone has fresh water.
Right.
Just find something. There's always something you can be grateful for. And just by focusing on that, you are shifting out of the negative and into something positive. And then you can build from there, and then you can spiral up.
Yeah. it becomes the switch that is able to flip. And like you said, even the most basic thing, even if someone's feeling really depressed and can't get out of bed, and then you get up and go to the bathroom and you're like, okay, I'm grateful that I'm able to, all of my plumbing, my urinary system is intact, I mean, it could be something as right, like the mind might be not feeling positive, but the body can be operating health in a healthy way.
Absolutely. Our bodies are definitely something that we can be grateful for. Our eyesight, our hearing,
Right.
all of those things. And I think one thing the pandemic has brought us is an appreciation for our health and taking care of ourselves and being able to take care of ourselves. It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that's really important for people to understand is that um, it's really important to commit to practicing every day.
Right.
It doesn't take a lot of time. It's not like you have to sit down and write for a half hour, but just committing to 5 minutes every day, ideally first thing in the morning, that's a great time to practice. Because
Mm.
when I was practicing gratitude, when I first started, it was the thing that got me out of bed in the morning.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
that's my favorite time to practice. You could even have a journal right by your bed and practice in bed before you get up, because it just sets this beautiful tone for the day, and it allows you to um, start your day in a positive light. And the more you do it, the more you start to notice more things. It's like gratitude begets gratitude, right? So people sometimes they start out, they might write down like, um, I'm grateful for my family, or I'm grateful for my husband. But as you progress with your journaling, you will find that you start noticing things in more detail. So I'm grateful that my husband is such a positive person. I'm grateful that my husband always offers me help when he sees me doing something like making dinner. So you shine a light on things through the lens of gratitude, and you become more detailed in the same things. Like you're grateful for the same things, but you're grateful for different aspects of them, and that's when you really deepen your practice. And
Mm.
then over time you will get to a place. Now, it could take months, it could take years, but eventually you get to a place where you can be grateful for everything, even the bad stuff, as you said.
Yeah, I have come to that place. I was in a situation where I was witnessing that this was like, quote, what people would consider a bad thing. And in it, I was like, I already see the gifts. I already know how this is going to propel everyone involved forward in their evolution. I love that. Yeah,
And that's
that's
a beautiful thing. I mean, that's like high level gratitude.
yeah. Yeah, I was hysterically crying, but I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be great. This is what's going to change everything."
Mhm. And I think we can look at the world that way right now.
Yeah.
I mean, people might say, oh, you're crazy that this is
No, I'm with you.
going on. But, we weren't headed in a good direction. I, Before the pandemic happened, I remember thinking to myself, can the world just stop? Because I need a break. Like,
Wow.
I just want to take a little break. And then when the lockdown happened, I was like, ooh, got to
Here
be
we
careful what you wish for, right? And
Yeah.
I thought it was only going to be a couple of weeks. And, obviously it wasn't. But we can still see the silver linings in all of that. People spending more time with their family, spending more time at home, catching their breath, getting more focused on health. I
Yeah.
mean,
A
I
lot of
think
silver
that
linings.
happened.
Yeah. Completely. I 100%. But again, it depends. It depends how you look at things. Are you in a victim mentality? Is this happening to me or is this happening for me? And a lot of these things, like what we just discussed, you going through infertility, me going through the death of my child and divorce, it changed how we viewed the world and ourselves in it. So I think it's a beautiful, and again, I'm just always in awe of everybody's stories. As we said, you have a beautiful son now, right? We didn't say you have a boy, but you have a child that ended up for you to, on this long journey, to have your dream fulfilled and to be a mother. And I know you're such a beautiful mother and you have a delicious boy. And
Thank you.
I'm just so grateful for that for you.
Thank you so much. And I have to say that gratitude, discovering gratitude and keeping a gratitude practice not only helped me on my journey to become a mom, but it's definitely helped me be a better mom.
Yeah, I am sure.
Because as you know, parenting is very challenging.
Very, very, very challenging. Well, I just want to thank you, Lorraine. I know you said your website and we're going to link it in the show notes, but can you say how people can reach you and your gratitude journal and your app? Where is everything found? What's your website?
Sure. Thank you. My website is gratitudetobliss.com. The app is called Gratitude to Bliss in the App Store. And you can also find me on Instagram at Gratitude to Bliss.
I love that. All one unified, beautiful gratitude to bliss that just opens my heart and feels so good. Thank you so much, Lorraine, for being with us today. If you found this podcast helpful and you know someone that would benefit from vitamin G, please forward it to them. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. That's it for this week's episode of Mondays with Marcy. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at marcybaronclears.com. I also would love for you to follow me on your favorite podcasting app so that you don't miss a single episode. I'm Marcy Baron, and thanks for listening. I am so grateful you are here.